It is, what is it? It's November 9th, year of our Lord 2021. Okay, so I am going to jump into the Zoom room. Good morning. Sound test. Can anybody hear me? I'm going to look at the chat. Mercy, you can hear me? Thank you very much. I am checking my technology. I've got too many things bouncing around on my screen. I just opened my computer this morning on November 9th, getting ready for class. And when you open your computer for the first time, maybe you have the same experience. You get all these things that are moving around, a little distracting, updating. Anyway, welcome everyone. Hope you had a great week. It's good to see everybody. Oh, I don't actually see you. I see your names, but nonetheless, it's good to be with you again. I hope you had a good week. This week we're going to talk about retirement plan analysis. So I want to spend a few minutes. It's not just quite time to start. So I'm going to spend a few minutes just going over some of where we've been during this semester in personal finance. I want to just to kind of do a quick review. And really, this week's lesson, this week's assignment in Blackboard is a review. It's in preparation for your capstone. So how much is your capstone worth? Let me jump over to the, do we have, so yeah, the capstone assignment is worth 200 points. So I want to make sure that you're prepared for the capstone assignment. And this week's lesson assignment is really kind of an ad hoc assignment that I put together this morning to, let's see, someone just left me a very helpful message to keep me from being distracted. Thanks, Harsh. He says, go to Task Manager and start up and turn off a few things, and it will make the computer faster when it starts and makes it less distracting. That's great. It's these kinds of powerful little nuggets that tend to distract me. But that's good advice. I will do that. I'll go into my computer and change a few settings so that when it starts up, we don't have all these things logging on at the same time. So back to my message. It's 10:05 now. So 10:05 is the time we generally start. So let's get started. I wish I could turn off I think I can turn off my notifications. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit focus and I'm going to hit do not disturb. Haha. I don't know about you guys. I'm a Mac user. I don't know about, I know a lot of you use Mac, Apple stuff, and I've been upgrading my computers. I'm on an M1 iMac right now, and they upgraded the operating system, so everything's new, everything is new. And it's better, but it takes a minute to get to know how to use it. So focus mode is kind of new. It used to just be do not disturb. I hit focus mode. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, listening, watching, maybe you could do the same. Hit focus mode for the next few minutes. And if you're with us live in the Zoom room, welcome. We're going to get started now. So as I was saying before Harsh gave me this beautiful piece of information about how to configure my computer so it doesn't have all these things moving around when I start it. Before that distraction, I was just kind of giving you an overview of what we're going to talk about today. And really, again, this week's lesson, this week's assignment in Blackboard is an ad hoc assignment that I put together this morning because you guys are doing a great job. Okay, most of you are doing a great job. There are a couple of exceptions. In fact, there are pockets of exceptions. One pocket of exception is those of you who, for some reason, this happens every semester, but this semester it seems to be more frequent, and that is a group of students who apparently don't actually watch these Zoom meetings, so you're probably not hearing what I'm saying right now, but the rest of you, just FYI, you might want to communicate this in the group me if you get a chance. When you have questions from students who seem like they just don't have a clue about where we are, what we're doing, It's because they're not keeping up with these meetings, these Zoom meetings, which are all posted in the playlist. And you should all know how to find the playlist. But the point is, there's a group of students who have put off signing up, registering for RightCapital for the planning portal. And what happens is, if you today decided you're going to go finally sign up and register for your planning portal, I'm not going to go in there and make any changes, because I did that earlier in the semester. I made an announcement: you need to do this by this week, or what happens is, I'm not even going to show you, but I could jump into RightCapital and I could show you when you register for your new account at RightCapital, when you get started with your financial plan, I have to, or someone on my team has to, go into the portal and make a few adjustments to give you access to all of the data cards that you're going to need to complete your assignments and really to complete your financial plan. And so the group of students who put that off and didn't go register until recently, like at least 3 students this week, are finally registering. And of course, that means they're trying to do their assignment, but they don't have access to the data cards, the parts of the plan that they need access to. They get very limited access. You all got very limited access until someone on my team went in and gave you more access. So right now, those of you who are earning all of your points, you've been given full access to the financial planning portal for many weeks now. So those of you, that group of students who put it off, you're behind. And so this semester, for whatever reason, we have a larger number of students in that relatively small group of students who are behind because you just didn't get around to doing your homework. You didn't get around to registering. And so your grade is going to demonstrate that. The fact that you're missing assignments, missing important parts of the assignments, it's because you're not keeping up. And the proof, in my opinion, and I think any reasonable person would agree, the proof is the large number of A students that we have who are having to hear this sermon when you're in the choir and you haven't missed anything. So sorry about that. But this week's assignment is for everyone. It's really in preparation for your capstone assignment. So you will see a lot of duplication in this week's assignment and next week's assignment. So what I've told you all along about the capstone is that it's very important because it is 200 points instead of 50 points like most of the assignments in your course. The capstone assignment does not receive, it doesn't qualify for extra points for turning it in early. So it's just 200 points. It's a lot of points. And what happens is, throughout the semester, each of the assignments that you've done throughout the semester, they build onto your capstone assignment. That's the way a capstone typically works, and that's how it works in this course. So your capstone assignment is very important. It is basically a combination of all of the lessons, all of the tasks, all of the things that you've done to build your financial plan. It comes together into the capstone assignment. So it's really redundant. The capstone is not new. It's taking all of the pieces and giving you an opportunity at the end of the course, which we are very close to review your own capstone. And doing that assignment, you're reviewing your own plan, and you're looking at each of the data cards that you've built throughout the semester that make up your comprehensive financial plan. You're looking at each of those and you're just doing another double check, and then you're grabbing a screenshot and you're creating a report, and that report is your assignment, and that is what the capstone is. So you're going to see a video of me showing you a capstone assignment, a completed one by a student who did a really great job. You're going to get to hear me talk about how I grade your capstone. So that's coming, not this week, but next week, the final assignment. It is kind of in place of the final assignment. final exam for this course. We don't have a final exam. You've taken little quizzes throughout the course, but the capstone is where it all comes together, and that's what I want you to pay attention to and prepare for so that you can earn your A in the course. Capstone's 20% of your grade. Just for a minute, let me just mention, if I can get my iPad to work, you also have 200 points for completed assignments, participation, and discussion. I call that the class collaboration. You cannot earn those points if you haven't completed all of your assignments. So many of you have turned in assignments after the due date, and the syllabus says you get 0 points for late assignments. That's not really true. I give you 1 point for a late assignment, just so that I can quickly look and see that you completed each of the assignments. So that's FYI for those of you who are A students. You don't need to worry. You have 200 points coming for class participation, and I'm sure you're going to earn your 200 points on your capstone. Now, as I say that, I want to give you one quick word of warning. So you may have gotten full points all along the way on each of the assignments, and you still may get a deduction on your capstone, and here's why. When I grade the assignments throughout this course, I'm not being super critical of how good of a planner you are, because I know this is new to you. So I'm giving you lots of grace as you build the data cards in your plan. I'm trying to give you feedback as a group. So I don't really deduct very often for things that would be mistakes or things that you missed, because I don't expect you to become a master financial planner in this course. However, when we do the capstone assignment, I'm giving you extra time to go back and review what you've already done. And if you've gotten, great points all the way through this semester, but now it's time for the capstone and you decide you're just going to hit the button and create the report and be done, you could get a surprise, because I'm going to highlight a few things that I want you to pay attention to so that you know that it's important, and so that I know you learned something this semester. So for that reason, warning, you could get deductions on the capstone if you don't pay attention and make a few tweaks and correct a few things that maybe I let slide throughout the semester. So fair warning, it is 10:15 a.m. on 9 November, year of our Lord 2021, and I am making you aware that you could get deductions on your capstone even though you didn't get deductions on those previous assignments. Okay? Thank you very much for letting me share that. It's now 10:15, so I'm going to jump into just kind of, this is what you're going to see this week in your assignment, calculating the cost of retirement. It's retirement plan analysis. So I'm just going to scroll through this real briefly, and you'll see this is all content that you've already dealt with. But when we talk about retirement planning is one of 7 elements of financial planning. So if you decided today that you wanted to become a CFP professional, a certified financial planner, I am a CFP professional, certified financial planner, and I'll tell you the truth, I've got a lot of letters after my name throughout my professional career. I've been very diligent about investing in personal development and professional development. And frankly, a lot of the professional development that you're required to do as a professional is, it's helpful. It's not life-changing. It's information. It's more and more and more information. And it's important for the professional groups that you're in for you to be able to demonstrate that you have the knowledge that they want you to have to be measured as someone who's got good credentials in a field. I could say that a lot of different ways, but basically what I'm saying is all of those letters after my name are not that hugely valuable in terms of being able to help you achieve your goals, which is really what I wanted to do in my professional career. I wanted to help people achieve their goals. I wanted to be really good at that. And so I became a certified financial planner, and nothing that I've done in my professional life has been as challenging and rewarding and um, what's the word? Nothing has caused me to grow more professionally than becoming a certified financial planner. And so if you decided you wanted to become a certified financial planner, the first thing you would have to learn is the 7 essential elements of financial planning. I'm going to bounce through those really quickly just so you know that I know what they are. So the first one we typically call, at least I call, retirement planning. Retirement planning is the biggest, and it really includes all of the others. And so what you're going to do this week in your assignment is you're going to focus on a retirement plan analysis, your retirement plan. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go through your financial plan and you're going to focus on the retirement calculation. Like, what is it going to cost for you to retire? That's the main objective of this week's assignment. But to do that, you have to go through all of the pieces of your financial plan. So the 7 elements of financial planning. I call it free tick in my book. I should show you a picture of the free tick, but I don't have it. But in my book, I had an illustration of a tick with a ball and chain. Imagine, I don't know if you know what a tick looks like close up, but they're pretty ugly animals. So it's an acronym that I use to teach. I use it in my books. Free tick is the acronym for the 7 elements of financial planning. And the first one is financial independence, which that's my word for retirement planning. So that's number 1, retirement planning or financial independence. One of the things I want you to do is to become a millionaire by the time you're 50, because if you can do that, you're going to be way ahead in terms of your opportunity to do whatever you want. That financial independence of having a net worth of $1 million allows you to say, you know what, I'm going to quit working for a corporation and I'm going to start working for myself on my own time, in my own terms, and I'm going to be independent and I'm going to do the things I want to do with my life. That's what I wanted for my life. And that's why for me, retirement planning isn't about retiring. It's not about getting to a point where I just do nothing. I do a lot of nothing already because I like I like Netflix. I like going camping. I like going for walks. I like doing things that are for me, that I enjoy with my family, with myself, whatever. But retirement for me doesn't mean not working, because I love working. I love doing what I'm doing right now. And while it's not really work, it's work. I'm getting paid for this pretty well. And so retirement planning, financial independence, number 1, if you became a certified financial planner, it's the number 1 reason people hire me, because they want to get to the point where they're financially independent, where they can retire if they want to. So that's number 1. Number 2 is what I call risk management. So free tick, the R is for risk management. We talked about insurance, and insurance is a huge part of financial planning. It's a huge part of personal finance. So risk management is number 2. And you obviously will see that in this week's assignment, because you're going to be looking at somewhere down there, we're going to look at insurance. So insurance is part of risk management. It also applies to investments. And we talked about 4 investment strategies designed to maximize return and minimize risk. Well, when I think of this second segment, this second element of financial planning, the second essential element of financial planning, risk management, to me, it includes how are you going to manage the risk in your investments. It's a very important part of my role as an investment advisor, as someone who owns a firm for investment management and financial planning. So that's number 2, FRE. The first E is for education funding, education planning. That's for parents who want to prepare to pay for college for their kids. Now, some of you are in a position where you're going to college today because somebody decided that it was important to them to do a little planning and prepare to make sure you had the funds you needed to go to college without having to worry about paying for it yourself. That's awesome. It's not something I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, I went to college. I paid every dime. Nobody in my clan went, well, nobody graduated from college. A few of my family went to college but didn't graduate. But I went to college, I paid for it myself, and I graduated. But then I had three kids, and I decided I wanted to make sure they could go to college. I wanted to make sure they had that opportunity. Turns out, none of them chose to go to college. No, none of them chose to finish college, which was their choice. But I made the choice, and that's what the E is for. Financial independence or retirement is the first one. FRE, education funding. The third, FREE, the fourth rather, is estate planning. Okay, so estate planning, we didn't cover that this semester. It's really beyond the scope. It's beyond the scope of retirement planning in general, but it's hugely important to everyone. If you have a family, especially if you have any children, having a will, having those documents that we call estate planning documents is super important, and a lot of people just put it off. So that's the fourth essential element of financial planning is estate planning. And then we have the T. Anybody want to guess what the T is for? I'm going to take a pause. I've been talking way too much. Somebody tell me, what do you think in terms of essential elements of financial planning? And you could also think about the three laws of personal finance and think about one of those and tell me, what do you think the T in free tick stands for? I should find free tick while I'm waiting. Tax, yes, tax planning, tax advantage savings, Fernanda, that's correct. But really, we call it all of these essential elements of financial planning are elements of planning. And so you could put planning at the end of all of them. And so tax advantaged investing is a huge part of financial planning, but it's all about tax planning, using the tax code, understanding the tax code sufficiently so that you can take advantage of it. Because the IRS makes the rules. Your job is to take advantage of them. So yes, it's about taxes. So free tick. Remember the picture of the tick and the chain and the ball and chain? Free tick, the acronym, we're working through the 7 essential elements of financial planning. Financial independence or retirement planning. R is for risk management, including insurance. E is for education planning. That's funding education. The next E in free tick is estate planning, which is like your will. The other estate planning documents that are critical for every family. Anyone who has anyone relying on them should do some estate planning. The T is tax planning. So free tick. So then what do you think the I is for? If T is for tax, what do you think the I stands for in free tick? The 7 elements of financial planning. Yes, yes, yes. Tanya, you are correct. Fernanda, you are correct. Alondra, you're awesome. It's for investing. Obviously, one of the most important elements of financial planning is investment management or investment planning. And that's one thing we've spent a good deal of time on. And I'm confident and encouraged by what I see you guys are learning and how excited you are about learning it. So that's awesome. And yes, that's what the I is for, investment management. So free tick. And obviously, again, as you go through this week's assignment in Blackboard, you're going to be testing your own knowledge. You're going to be stretching your own mind. You're going to be expanding what you've already learned about investment management and investment strategies. Remember, the 4 investment strategies that we shared that are designed to maximize return and minimize risk. Does anybody want to tell me what those 4 investment strategies were? I know what they are, and I'll repeat them in a minute, but I'm going to count to 10 and see who's going to win the extra 1,000 points this week. If you can name all 4 of the investment strategies that I outlined a couple weeks ago that are designed to help you maximize returns and minimize risk, 4 of them that I really want you to know. I want you to remember. I want you to plant these seeds, because if you can just remember these 4 investment strategies, you will be activating a very important part of your mind. And I'm going to tell you about it while I wait to see who's going to name the 4 investment strategies. I know you're You're probably Googling it. Maybe you're going into the notes from the YouTube videos on your playlist. I don't know, but nobody's answering the question yet. Jacob, you got it, buddy. I'll repeat those in a minute, but I'm sure everybody in the chat room and the Zoom meeting can see your comment there because you shared it with everybody. Thank you, Jacob. You're right, though. But here's the deal, Jacob. Just by remembering, kind of rehearsing those, memorizing the names of those four strategies. For one thing, you're going to remember the stories. You're going to remember the lesson on those four investment strategies. But what happens is there's this crazy thing in our brain. It's called a reticular activator. It's a crazy little thing in your brain. I can't even remember where it is. It's somewhere in your brain. But this little gizmo that's in your brain that you didn't have to go buy on Amazon, it comes with your brain. It's called a reticular activator. And so if I say pink Tesla, I don't know that I've ever seen a pink Tesla, but surely there will eventually be a pink Tesla. I should say a pink elephant. Maybe if I say pink elephant, what you will do is you will think of a pink elephant. I don't know how it works, but your reticular activator, it activates something in your mind, in your brain, and it helps you remember, it helps you gain and expand knowledge about something. It's a crazy thing. So what I'm trying to do is trick your brain into remembering four investment strategies, because with each of those strategies, there was additional pieces of information that will become part of a schema, part of a network of information in your mind, and that will help you over your lifetime become really good at investing. I promise you that's true. And those four investment strategies, Jacob nailed them. Jacob's the only one who took the time to type out all those letters. Maybe you used Siri. But anyway, I want to try something just for fun. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do a new, and I'm going to go. So check this out. For those of you who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to try something. Diversification, new paragraph. Asset allocation, new paragraph. Dollar cost averaging, new paragraph. Portfolio rebalancing. Look at that. Worked. Let's see if I can. Oh, I can't. I could do this though. Check it out. Whoa. I just took a screenshot and now I'm just making the screenshot really big. See there? That's like magic. And that's the four investment strategies that are designed to maximize returns and minimize risk. Diversification, asset allocation, dollar cost averaging, and portfolio rebalancing. And these are just four basic strategies for investment management. But investment planning is part of financial planning. So do you see at this point how much you've already learned? I mean, you guys, I don't know if you believe this or not, but you're really learning a lot in this course. I'm pushing you to learn a lot, and I'm pushing you into this software that you're using that may just seem like a waste of time. And for some of you, maybe it is a waste of time because you're not really applying yourself to think about what's possible if you actually have a financial plan for your life. And so my hope is that after this semester is over, you're still going to have this knowledge, this schema, this understanding of the power of financial planning. And if you ever decided to become a certified financial planner, these 7 elements of financial planning, they're the essential elements. And that's the first thing you would learn is these 7 elements. So free tick, financial independence or retirement. R is for risk management or insurance. E is for education planning or education funding. The next E is for estate planning. That's like your will, your estate planning documents. What's going to happen to everything you own after you die? Estate planning is what determines that for you. And the next T, the T in free tick, is for tax planning, which hopefully you learned last week makes a huge difference in the outcome of your retirement and your investment strategies. And then the I is investment planning, which is, again, we spent more time on investing than anything else in this course for a reason. So what's next after the I? The C in free tick stands for something, and I'm wondering if anyone might know what the C would stand for in Mercy says cash. Cash is part of it, but cash flow is really, Alondra, that's right. You guys got it. I'm not sure why you're so smart, how you could figure out what the C stands for, unless you're watching the screen, which would kind of give you a clue. But that's definitely the C. One of the essential elements, one of the most important essential elements of financial planning is cash flow. So in your plan, I keep telling you, well, I've told you several times, when I review your plan, if there's something that I question, something I don't understand, something that doesn't make sense, the first thing I do is go to, I'm going to open RightCapital and just show you what I do. So I'm going to go into RightCapital. I'm going to show you a plan. I'll pick a plan and I'll just show you what I do. And this is what I would like for you to do in your own plan as you, as you review your retirement analysis, your retirement plan this week. I want you to get comfortable reviewing your plan the way I review every plan. So I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to just go to Billy's. I'll go to Billy's plan. Oh, come on, boom. Hopefully we got to Billy. I'm on my iPad doing this, which is not the way I would normally do it. So when I go to retirement, this is where you guys are going to go. You're going to go to retirement. For the most part, I mean, because this is the central engine of this financial planning software. It's the retirement analysis. So you can see Billy, he's got 1%. We could go down here and we could change some things. Let me just do that real quick, just for fun. So he wants to retire at 67. I'm going to make him be 70 because Sally, she wants to, we'll make her 70. And whoa, that's $7,000 a month. Let's put them on a diet and they're only now going to be spending $6,000 in retirement. Billy is saving 6%. Sally's saving 6%. Let's make his taxable savings $5,000. Let's make it $10,000. Let's make it $12,000 just for fun. That's how much he's going to save. And instead of his current allocation, let's give him growth. And let's just see what happens when I hit refresh. Watch what happens watch what happens when you hit refresh. Did I hit refresh? We're still at 1%. I don't think it took. I hate using my iPad for this because it's really just oh, look at that. So Billy now, his probability of success went to 95%. And if you're doing this yourself and you're grabbing a screenshot showing me the before and after and you thought you're doing great, there's a problem here. And, you know, I may not have deducted points on your assignment for this, but when you get to the capstone, you're going to get a deduction for this. Does anybody see a problem in what we just did, just from what you see right here in this front end screen that shows you the bottom line number for the retirement analysis? Does anybody see anything that you should question? Anything here that you see that you would want to question as a normal person? I'm looking for comments in Zoom. If you're on Facebook watching live or YouTube, I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. And I'm going to ask you to just look at the screen. We just changed his probability of success from 1% to 95% by tweaking a few of the numbers down there. We changed his asset allocation from probably he had no asset allocation to growth, which means now somebody's got to manage these investments so that he gets a return that's more likely to be from a growth portfolio than a cash portfolio. So we did that. We raised his retirement age, and we did this thing right here. We added $12,000 to an investment. He's not going to make $12,000 a month in an investment, but we pretended that. So we did that, and it went to 95%, but something else changed. Something that, frankly, I'm seeing on your assignments a lot. Yeah, Alondra. the high amount of money, $21 million is a really lot of money for the end of your plan. It's a really, for one thing, if he actually does accumulate that much, then good for him. If his goal is to leave a pile of money for his family or his kids or whatever, and if he can really do what he's projecting to do in this plan, then that's great. He achieved his objective. His kids are going to be filthy rich. Well, I don't know, 21 million may not be, it's not a billion, but $21 million, trust me, it's a lot of money. And if you're planning on leaving that to your kids, you might want to rethink that and think about some ways you could use that money to do something good in the world besides just make your kids lazy. Just a thought. But anyway, when I look at your plan and I see that kind of number, if it's anything over $5 million, I'm going to question it. And you should question it too. And that's part of this week's assignment in Blackboard is look through your plan. Do you see anything that would raise questions? This is a question. That's a question. The way I answer that question, if I want to know what's going on, I click on cash flows. You see cash flows right there? That's what you do. This is, again, it's one of the 7 essential elements of financial planning, and it's part of every financial plan. It's a huge part of every financial plan. Cash flow, inflows and outflows. It's the kingpin of every financial plan. You can't have investment management without having cash flow. If you don't have money going into your investments, you don't have a plan. In fact, when you get ready to retire and you had, let's say you were very successful in managing your investments. Now we have to talk about cash flow in retirement. How much are you going to be spending out of your investments into your life to provide for your bills, your expenses? And so that's another thing I'm going to show you in just a minute. Many of you have a very, very, very unrealistic idea of what expenses you're going to have in retirement, because many of you are living on ramen noodles now, and you think that you're going to be living on ramen noodles when you get to be my age. Well, look at me. Do I look like I live on ramen noodles? You won't live on ramen noodles. You're going to spend some money. So that's another question that I always have when I look at your expenses in retirement and I see something like, $1,000 a month. That's going to raise a question for me, and it should raise a question for you too. If you're making $100,000 a year and you expect that to go up over your lifetime, you got to understand, you have to have enough foresight to recognize that your expenses are going to go up as well. They are. So be realistic, because that will raise a question and that will cause a deduction in your capstone assignment. So cash flow is where we would go. I jump into cash flow, and then I can start to dive deeper into what's going on in this plan. And I'm not going to dive deep right now, but you can just start to see that that Billy's plan now we have, just by clicking on cash flows, we have access to all this new information. If I want to go see what expenses he has, I can see his expenses. If I want to jump into living expenses, I can see year by year how much his living expenses are, retirement expenses, and then I can go back. I guess I can hit the back button and go back, and I can see housing, I can see debt, insurance premiums. Why does he only have one insurance premium? That's a question I would have. So again, cash flow is just a way for you to go in when you look at your retirement analysis on this main screen and you make some tweaks, which you will do, I hope, because that's how you will test drive your financial plan. That's how you will decide what you can do to move the needle on your financial plan. It's by changing these inputs, and each of these inputs represents something in the cash flow. So if you have a question, you jump right into cash flow and you start to see if you can figure out the question, the answer to the question. I don't expect you to be a master planner. an expert in planning. But I do expect you to be able to recognize stuff like a $21 million excess at the end of the plan and go, wait a minute, something in my plan is off. So what is it? And then you just go try and figure it out. And frankly, I've had students tell me, I tried, I looked here, I just can't figure it out. Can you help me? And I may not have time to go in and figure it out for you, but I will take that and try to do a summary review for the whole cohort. But I really appreciate the fact that the point here is you see there's a question. You see that your plan, if this is your plan, it raises a question. And so if you just blow by it and you don't comment on it, you don't reflect on it, you don't even attempt to try to figure it out on your capstone assignment or this week's assignment in your retirement plan analysis, you're going to get deductions because that's like, there's something going on here that isn't quite right. It's at least a question that you need to comment on. Okay, does that make sense? So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pause now. It's 10:43 a.m. on November 9th, year of our Lord 2021, and I'm about to sign off. And I'm gonna get on an airplane and I'm gonna go to Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, Arizona. I have a conference with some friends, a bunch of financial planners. We get together twice a year. Typically, it's like a mastermind group of people that share the same approach to financial planning, holistic financial planning. We try to sharpen one another and help each other grow, and it's an awesome resource. So that's where I'm going today. But when I get back next week, we're basically going to have our final lesson. So next week, the assignment is the capstone assignment. So I'm going to come back next week. We're going to do the capstone review assignment. And that assignment is 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to do your capstone. But I'm going to make a deal. I'll tell you about it right now, and I'll remind you next week that here's the deal. I'm going to take the first 10 or so students who do your capstone assignment early, and I'm going to take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of those assignments, and I'm going to create a tutorial video to show you how to improve your capstone. I'll show you any mistakes that I see in your capstone. So the benefit for you in the capstone, you don't get extra points for turning it in early. It's 200 points. But what you do get for turning it in early is you get to check it off your list and be done. And you get my feedback in a tutorial video using your assignment to kind of give you some helpful nudging if you missed something and it needs to be tweaked or whatever. But that you will also be helping the entire cohort, the entire course, by making your assignment available for a tutorial. So congratulations to you. Thank you very much. I know several of you are going to turn that in early because that's just who you are. It's what you've done all semester. And it means so much to me that you've taken my encouragement to turn in your assignments in early. You've been given a few extra points, but most of all, you've proven to me that you care about this course and what you're learning in personal finance. And it makes what I do feel pretty good. It makes me feel good about what I do because I feel like I'm making a difference for you. And for the rest of you that are just kind of trying to get through and get your A, I want to help you do that. I want to help you get your A. I want to help you get as many points as you can. And so the students who turn it in early, they're helping you too. So let's give them all a big hand. I think I can do that too, just in case. I'm going to hit the applause. That's for you. That's for you students who turn your assignments in early. Okay. We would be able to resubmit the assignment after your tutorial. Jacob, that's a great question, and the answer is yes. However, and this is an important question too. So this is another reason to turn it in early, Jacob, because those of you who turn it in early, that's by Friday at 3 p.m., okay? Those assignments are going to be available for me to use as a tutorial. If you don't want me to use your assignment, you better tell me very clearly in the comments when you turn it in and I won't use it. But otherwise, I'll use it. However, I will give you feedback and you will be able to turn it in by Tuesday, 1 week assignment. So you'll have one, it's going to be kind of confusing, but I'm not going to grade. I'm not going to do any grading and replying and giving you feedback after the first week. So if you turn it in early, you get the extra points. I do the tutorial. And yes, Jacob, you have an opportunity to update it, to fix it, to correct it. But you have to turn it in within the first week due date, which is Tuesday at 10 a.m. The assignment isn't actually going to be late until the following Tuesday. So it's a 2-week assignment due date on the capstone. So hopefully that's not too confusing. If it is too confusing, well, just turn it in by the due date and you'll be good to go. The final due date will be 2 weeks. But Jacob, to answer your question, if you want to make corrections and resubmit it, it's going to have to be in the first week by Tuesday at 10 a.m. After that, I'm not going to be making any adjustments to grades on the capstone. So hopefully that helps. That gives you 1 full week to take advantage of this offer. And after that, it's just like any other assignment, frankly. So thanks for that question, Jacob. That was helpful. Any other questions before we hit the end button? Let's see. I think I will go back here. I'm still working on this assignment. I will post it in Blackboard in the next few minutes. I just posted it on the website so we could use it in today's. But I may tweak a few things, but it's basically just go through your retirement analysis. You've already done this. Just take another look at each of the data cards that are part of your retirement plan and just review them. And grab screenshots to show me what is in your plan. That's really what this lesson is. It's your retirement plan analysis. So you'll see this in Blackboard. It will be posted in the next hour or so. So I'm going to jump back over into, I don't see any comments. I'll be checking comments on Facebook and YouTube. As soon as I hit the end button here, I'll go jump and answer any questions you might have on Facebook or YouTube. And this week, your class participation, I'm not sure what we're going to post. We'll post it in the assignment, and you can include that as a screenshot when you do this week's class participation. Any suggestions for what this week's class participation? I know what it could be. Here's what it is. I just remembered. So this will be the class participation element, the final element, your definition of a financial plan. I know we asked that before in the beginning of the semester, but now after you do your retirement plan analysis, I want you to think about your definition of a financial plan. What is it? Is it valuable? How is it valuable? How will you use it? What is your definition of a financial plan? Everybody's got a different idea, a different definition of a financial plan, but what's yours? I mean, I just gave you the 7 essential elements of financial planning from the perspective of a certified financial planner. If you were going to become a CFP, you would learn these 7 elements of financial planning. You would learn to think like a CFP. And so if you were able to think like a CFP, you would see financial planning as something more than you may have thought of financial planning when you came into this course. So I don't know what you're thinking the definition of financial plan is, but what is your definition of a financial plan? Or financial planning? It's really a financial plan. What is I'm not going to give you my definition right now because we're out of time pretty much, and it's been fun. So just to clarify, the due date for the capstone is 2 weeks from today. That's not correct, Matthew. I'm sorry for the confusion. I know it is confusing because I've talked about this week's assignment, which is the retirement plan analysis, which is due next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Next week, I'm going to just basically do a review of what the capstone assignment is. And next week, we're going to post the capstone assignment. That's next week's assignment. And next week's assignment has a 2-week due date. So sorry for the confusion. This week's assignment is retirement plan analysis, and it's a precursor. It's kind of in preparation for the capstone assignment because I want to give you guys every chance you can have to learn as much as you can and to get as many points as you can on the capstone assignment. It's worth 200 points. So good question. Sorry for the confusion, Matthew. Hopefully that answers it. It looks like it did. You said thank you. So I'm assuming that answered it for you and anyone else who may have had that question. Again, this video is going to be posted. It's live on YouTube and Facebook, but we're going to post it in the playlist. And the playlist is, where is the playlist? Let me jump over here and really quickly just see if I can point you to the playlist. Just so you remember, because some students honestly are missing this Zoom meeting altogether. And in the capstone assignment, it's going to be pretty important that you kind of keep track. So this little YouTube deal right there takes you to the playlist, this semester's playlist. So when I hit that, it takes me hopefully to the playlist. That's our playlist. And you will see this video will get posted right there. I think the last video, yeah, this one went to the bottom of the list, but nonetheless, it's going to be posted right there. So I'll go do that as soon as I hit the end button. Okay, so remember, that's our playlist. It's right there. If you go to moneystudygroup.com, it takes you to the course page, and that course page is set up so that you have a YouTube icon, and the link behind that icon takes you to this semester's playlist. So jump right over there and you'll see this. If you missed any of the meetings, any of the Zoom meetings, that's where they are. All right. Any other questions? Going once, going twice, going. All right. I'm going to end the Zoom meeting, and then I'm going to jump over and end the broadcast. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Alondra. Safe travels. Thank you. Okay, let me jump in to eCam Live, and I'm going to finish. See y'all next week. For those of you who are here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, thanks for joining us. Don't forget, leave some comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's some news coming in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be moving the entire course from where it is to somewhere else, and I'll tell you all about that in the next video. Well, maybe not the next video, but in the next couple of weeks. So pay attention, stay tuned, hit the little bell. We're going to keep this YouTube channel. If you're in YouTube, hit the little bell so you get me coming and giving you reminders every time we post a video. We will continue to use the channel Missional Money for our course, but the course is going to move. Moneystudygroup.com is going to a whole new platform for next semester. So hit the bell and you'll get notified. Subscribe to the channel and you'll get to continue the journey. So I'm going to end it now. I'm going to hit finish. I'll see you next week.